Hi guys, welcome to Vinyasa Flow Yoga. Tonight we are doing a Yang Yin flow, and this is going to be volume 4 of the series. And yeah, I don't know how many series I'll make, but a bunch. So the Yang Yin, we will be going sort of a kind of a faster flow for the first part of the class, and then a slower flow and holds for the last part of the class leading up to Shavasana. So we will get started in child's resting pose. You don't need anything other than your mat, but if you would like to grab some blocks or bolsters for that last part of the class, or even during the class, then go ahead and grab those now. And we'll get started. So come onto your mat. Bring your knees wide and big toes touch, and stretch your arms forward. Bring your forehead to the ground. And begin here by taking long, deep breaths in and out through the nose. So allow your shoulders to sink down, the elbows to bend and relax. And on every inhale, you want to think about your spine lengthening out. And every exhale, you want to think about your hips beginning to relax and your shoulders beginning to relax even more. Think about releasing the full weight of your body down onto the mat. So not holding anything up and ends. Relax even your core muscles, your facial muscles. Begin by rocking your head side to side. So your forehead is going to stay on the mat. And then just a light rocking, so you're massaging that third eye space out on the mat. Try to, as you're doing this, you're letting your head release down into the mat too. Think of how heavy your head is, and then think about relaxing your neck muscles to allow the head to just rock from side to side. Okay, slow that motion down. We'll lift up and walk off the mat to the left side and bow the head down towards that left knee. Go over to the right side and do the same, reaching at an angle. Come on back to center, and then take the right arm out to the right and then slide it underneath that left arm there. Bring the head to the floor, the side of that left or that right head, and it's going to be resting onto the floor, and the whole outside of that right arm resting on the floor, hips sinking back. If you need to create more space, then you're lifting your hips up higher to do so. And then slowly release out of that twist. Switch sides. So left arm, you can stretch it out first and then take it under the right side. Release your head, release your arms, shoulders. Breathing into your shoulders. Keep pulling back through your hips. Alright, so take your time here releasing out of that twist. Let's rise up into tabletop pose. Bring the hands underneath your shoulders and knees underneath your hips. So let's do some cow-cats, rounding the spine and releasing the spine. Inhale, drop the belly. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, lift your shoulders to your ears. make sure you're exhaling and rounding your spine, putting your spine into flexion, and then inhaling, extending your spine. Next, move around in a circle motion. Pick a direction, counterclockwise or clockwise, and do a few one direction and a few another direction. Moving your sides out, around, bending into your elbows. Think about loosening up through your shoulders as you're doing this. Slow it all down. So coming back into tabletop position. So right away, we're just going to try and create a little bit of heat through the body. You're tucking the toes under, and you want to keep your back flat for this, but we're going to push through the heels and just lift the knees up off the ground a few centimeters. So looking down, try not to lift your bum up in any way. You're just keeping the flat back. Shoulders over wrists, and it should feel like your legs are working pretty hard here. Should feel like the core is working pretty hard. Just letting those knees kind of hang above the ground here, not touching the ground. Keep holding for 3, for 2, and for 1, and then release your knees back onto the floor, and then reach your right leg back behind you, and then swing it out to the right, and try to hold for 3, for 2. You can bend your knee, by the way, to do this. Your right leg out to the right, and then swing back, and then bring it down. And then your left leg is going to do the same. So out to the side, out back behind you, and then to the side. So again, you can keep that straight leg, or you can do that bent knee, but try to hover that knee up. Try not to lean too far to the right side here, and if you are, then you need to bend your knee. So you don't have to get that leg or that hip super high off the ground, or out to in that range of motion here. Just that leg off the ground, and then swing it back, and then bring it down. Now, keeping that right knee bent, we're going to bring the leg up, and then do some circles. Circles around in the hip joint. So just pick one direction to go. Breathing. Switch sides. And then bring it down. And then the other side. Pick up that leg, bend the knee, and then pick a direction to circle around in the hip joint. Other direction. All right, and then bring it down. All right, tuck the toes under, walk your hands forward, and lift up into down dog. Come forward into plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Lift into up dog or cobra, and then come back into downward facing dog. Breathe it out. You can walk it out. Come forward into plank pose again, lower through chaturanga. Lift into up dog or cobra. Bring the belly onto the floor. Reach forward with the hands, and then out to the sides, out to a T, and then forward with the hands, palms facing each other, and then out to a T, palms facing the ground, forward, out to a T, forward, back to the T. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders. Push up all the way to down dog. So you can go to tabletop and then down to up to down dog. Look forward at the hands, step or hop up to them. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise up all the way. And then exhale, hands to the heart. Clasp your fingers. shoulders, press down. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, take the hands back behind you, clasping. Pull back, look up. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Arms reach up. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Squeeze your shoulder blades back. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, rise up. Deep breath in. Exhale, clasp and press. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, take the hands back. Inhale, clasp and pull. Exhale, bow. Inhale, rise. Exhale. This time we're going side to side. On the right side, reaching to the right. Come back to center, left side. Breathing into the right side. Keep pushing up through the arms. Come back to center and then over to the right side again. Try not to twist the upper body, keeping your chest facing forward. Come back to center and then over to the other side. Feet planted onto the floor. Feel your toes, feel your heels, and then come back to center. Take the hands back behind you, step your feet wide. Clasp your hands, pull back the shoulders, shoulder blades really pulling back here. Bend the knees and bow forward into the squat. Dropping the head. Your hands could rest on your low back. If it's too intense for you, try to keep pulling the hips back so that you're in that squat and your legs are working a lot here. Push through the legs and come up all the way. Reach up with your arms. Drop your left arm down to your left. And then drop your right arm down to your right, side bending to the right. Drop your left arm down to the left, side bending to the left. Drop your right arm down to the right and side bend to the right. Reach up with both arms. Inhale. Exhale and bow forward, folding with that wider stance in that forward fold. See if you can go over, you can go side to side a little bit here. And then we'll go over to just the right leg, so bowing the head more towards the right knee. And then bowing the head over to the left knee. And then come back to center and then rise up all the way. Inhale, lift the arms, exhale, hands to your heart, stepping your feet together at the top of the mat. Sweep arms overhead, inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, jump or step back into plank pose, lower through, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to downward facing dog. Breathing here. One more deep breath in and out. Look forward at the hands and step or hop up to them. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, rise up all the way. Exhale, hands to the heart. Clasp your fingers. Press down. Lift the arms. With your toes touching and knees together, sink into a chair. Pressing through the arms and your hands clasped. If you absolutely need to, then you can drop your arms down, but try to lift those arms up. And then release the clasp in your hands. Arms still alongside your ears. Now drop them down so that they're right in line with your shoulders in front of you. And then open them out to a T. And then close them. Open them out to a T. And then close them, and then open them out to a T. Take the hands back behind you, clasp, and then stand, and then pull back into a standing back arch here. So arms pulling back, shoulder blades pulling back, bow forward with just straight legs. Holding. On your inhale, come up all the way. Arms up to the sky. Deep breath in. Exhale, bow forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands to the floor. Step your right foot back and drop your right knee down to the floor. Reach your arms up. Bring your arms out to a T, and then take that right arm over your left arm. For eagle arms, lifting the arms up. Breathing into your shoulders. One more breath, inhale, lift, and then exhale, release the arms back behind you, clasping behind you. Pull back, look up. Keep breathing here. And releasing arms up, inhale, exhale, hands down to the floor, step back into plank pose. Three-legged plank pose with that left leg lifting. Now kick that left leg underneath your right leg and go to side plank pose, floating that bottom leg. Keep holding for 4, 3, 2, 1. Take it back around to plank pose and lower through chaturanga. Lift into up dog or cobra and then come back into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, left knee down to the floor, and arms up to the sky. Open your arms out to a T position and then take your left arm over top of your right arm for eagle. If you have really tight shoulders, your modified eagle is just you're hugging and hands on opposite shoulders, or just crossing your arms in front of your chest pretty much, but pulling forward. So the action is pulling forward so that your shoulder blades are separating. Breathing into that space in between your shoulder blades. Take another deep breath. Lift and then release. Arms out to a T, hands back behind for clasping. Pull back. Shoulder blades now pulling together. Try to keep the arms moving back. And then releasing. Arms up. Inhale, exhale, hands down to the floor. Come back into that three-legged plank. On this side, your right leg is going to go underneath your left leg for that side plank. 3, 2, and 1. And then come back around to plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Lift into up dog or cobra, bring the belly back onto the floor. Stretch your arms forward, palms face each other. Take your arms out to a T. Take your arms back behind you, palms face up. Try to keep your chest lifting, head lifting. If you want to, you can lift your feet too. Take your arms out to a T. Reach your arms forward. Arms out to a T. Arms back behind you, palms face up. Arms out to a T. And then take the hands underneath your shoulders. Toes tucked under. Push up to plank pose. Hold that plank pose. If you absolutely need to, you're dropping your knees down, but try to stay in the plank position as best as you can. Engaging your core with those straight legs here. You're pushing out through the heels. Okay, and we're gonna lift up into down dog. So 1, 2, 3, lifting up through the hips and stretch it out. Head heavy, chest dropping, pulling towards the thighs. Deep breaths in and out. Looking forward, stepping or hopping up to the hands. Bring your toes to touch. Drop back into chair pose. Reach your arms forward. Bring your hands to your heart, twisting to the right side. Bring your left elbow onto your right knee. Press down, pull back through the right shoulder. Try to open the chest. Try to bring the center of your chest to your thumbs. Let it go. Stay in chair. Come back to center, hands to heart, and then go to the other side. Right elbow onto the left knee. Try to keep the hips pulling back. If possible, your toes are lifting off the ground. So that means all your weight is coming back into your heels. Your legs are doing a lot of the work. Come out of the twist, center, stand, reaching up, palms together, thumbs to the back of the head. Arching back in that standing position, Tadasana. Thumbs at the back of the head, elbows pointing up. Lifting up through the arms now. Open up the arms and swan dive forward. Inhale halfway. Exhale, hands to the floor and step your left foot back. Drop your left knee down to the floor. Reach up through the arms, open up to the left. Reaching right arm forward, left arm back. Take left hand to the back of the leg. Tip back, looking over that left shoulder, or face forward, look up at the ceiling. Shoulders pulling back. All right, windmilling out. Lifting your back knee up off the floor. Walking your hands forward now, kick up into standing split. We're going to open up for half moon. The left arm is going to reach up. And then if possible, you just kind of keep reaching into space here with your left leg and with your left arm. Maybe you're taking your right fingertips a little bit off the ground or just testing how that feels. Try not to rely on putting all your weight into your right hand, but if you're using a block, then that's where you're at today, and that's fine as well. Okay, take that left hand back onto the floor, and then step back just into a lunge. So your back knee is going to stay up off the floor, your front knee is over your front ankle, and then we're up into lunge. Take your arms out to a T, and the left arm will go over top of the right arm. So we're in eagle arms again. Lift the elbows, and then exhale, bow forward. So rounding through the spine. Now this should feel pretty intense on that right leg, but try to keep pushing back through that left leg. So try to really anchor back. Keep breathing. And then we're going to rise up, and then we're going to pivot to the side, to the left side. So in a wide-legged standing forward fold here, keeping those eagle arms, lift your elbows, and then bow forward, dropping down. Take another deep breath. Still holding that bind, we're going to come up on your inhale, and then pivot again. So your right toes are pointing forward, and then your left toes also can point forward here. So you're back in that lunge, and then getting ready for eagle pose. So shift your weight forward. We're going to lift up that left knee, cross it over the right, and sink down. Keep lifting up through the elbows. We're going to unwind, and we're going to open up the arms. Airplane pose. So we're going to kick back through the left leg. Arms are open to a T. Try to stay in airplane pose. Take your hands back behind you, arms alongside your body. See if you can clasp your hands at your back and pull back, and then step your back leg back onto the ground in a shorter stance, a pyramid stance. So your back foot is turned out on 45. Your right toes are still pointing forward. Still keeping your arms back behind you with your hands clasped here. We're going to fold forward, bowing over that right leg. reaching up, inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart, and then step the left foot forward to the top of the mat. Sweep arms overhead, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Jump or step back into plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, plank pose, lower through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhale to plank pose. You can inhale and then exhale, down through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhale to plank pose. Take an inhale, exhale, down through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhale to plank pose. One more time. Inhale and exhale, down. Deep breath in, up dog. Exhale it back into downward facing dog. Walk it out. All right, so from here, the left foot is going to step forward. Your right knee is going to come to the floor. Arms are going to go up to this guy for a crescent lunge. Then we're going to open up to the right side. Breathing deep here. Now let's take it back. Right hand to the back of the right leg. Looking up at the ceiling. Looking over the shoulder, whatever you feel comfortable doing. All right, so unwinding. Left arm, right arm, bringing it down to the ground. Lift your back knee up off the floor. Walk your hands forward, kick up to standing split, and get ready for half moon. The right arm is going to reach up. The right leg is up, and the right arm is up for half moon, facing the right with your body here. So belly button should be facing the side wall as best as you can, opening up that side body. Keep breathing here. Okay, we're going to close it in. That right hand comes to the floor, and then the right leg steps back, and then we'll get ready for that high lunge position. So when you feel ready here, you're going to come up, high lunge position, arms alongside your ears, arms out to a T, and then right arm over left arm for eagle arms. Lifting those elbows up. Exhale, bow forward, rounding the spine. Try to drop your chin in. Inhale, rise up. Okay, going into that wide-legged standing forward fold on the right side. So toes are going to pivot to the right side of the mat. I'm just going to face this way for you guys. And a wide-legged standing forward fold. Again, breathing, hips pull back. Come on up. Slowly rise up on your inhale. Pivot so that your left toes are pointing forward again. And you're back into the lunge, getting ready for eagle pose. Balancing on that left leg next here. So we're coming up and bring that right knee up nice and high, crossing it over. Crossing it over the left leg. Try to stay tall. In your posture, deep breaths in, deep breaths out. All right, releasing out. Step your right foot back and release your arms back behind you. We're gonna go into airplane pose. I forgot we're going to that after eagle pose, so reaching out. Holding that airplane pose just a little bit longer. Take your hands back behind you, clasping behind you. Hold for 2, 1, and then we can have a little bit of a break in your pyramid pose. So we're stepping your right leg back, and we're gonna fold over the left leg this time. Hands clasped behind you, bow forward over the left leg. Slowly rise up. Arms reach up, hands to your heart, and then just step to the top of the mat. Sweep arms overhead, inhale. Exhale, bow forward, jumper step back. Plank pose, lower through, chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to plank pose. Inhale, then exhale, lower through chaturanga. You can use your knees to do this here. By the way, we're doing the same amount here, doing chaturanga blitz here. Coming down through chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to plank pose. Take an inhale, exhale. Down to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to plank pose. Keep going through. Down. Inhale to up dog. Exhale to plank pose. We're doing one more. Down. Inhale. Child's pose, you guys. Bring the knees down to the floor and come back. Stretch it out. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out again. All right, so slowly start to come up. Here, back to tabletop pose, come up into downward facing dog, walk it out. Look forward at your hands and step up to them. Halfway lift, inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rise up all the way. Deep breath in and exhale. Okay, we'll do another balance sequence here, starting with dancer's pose. So we're going to balance on the left leg first. Going to bend into the right knee and catch the inside part of the right foot. So when you're ready, you can reach up with that left arm, and then you're gonna kick up into the foot. You can do this at a wall, or you can hold on to a chair that's in front of you to do this, and then you'll get a little more stable. So this arm in front of me, that's holding onto a chair. I'm just showing you, miming for you, what that's going to look like. And you may only get to here, maybe you're just down a little bit lower. So that's what you'll be doing to modify. Otherwise, in your practice here, you're in the dancer's pose and you're going to kick up into the hand and reach forward with the left arm. So kicking and reaching, kicking and reaching. Meanwhile, you're trying to pull everything in line. So make sure your right knee is not doing this and swinging way out to the side in some weird fashion. Try to keep everything in line, and that may mean that you don't have as much range of motion that way, but that's okay. That is, you're going to the correct range of motion, which is what we want. Staying everything in line, the knees pulling straight back as opposed to twisting or torquing out to the side. Releasing out, and we're gonna bring the hands to the hips. We're still gonna work on this leg. We're gonna kick the right leg forward, still balancing on that left leg, holding up that right leg, leaning back just slightly. Take the arms alongside your ears, lean back a little bit more. Keep holding. And then we're going to swing it and swing your leg, and we're going to swing the arms back here. Again, we're going to clasp the hands back behind you in this warrior three or toppling tree variation, and then we're going to step back into a pyramid stance. So that right leg is going to step back, and this time we're going to unclasp the hands and just grab onto opposite forearms behind you. You can also do the reverse prayer at your back. Just show you there. So you can do that as well if that's in your practice. If your wrists don't bend that way, then don't worry about it. Just grab onto opposite wrists behind you. Look up, lift up, and bow forward. Now, if you feel very wobbly in this pyramid stance, check out the spacing between your right foot and left foot. Make yourself, give yourself enough hip space. So width in between those feet. So you're walking on train tracks, not on a tightrope, and that should widen your base out a little bit more so that you have more stability. All right, coming up, engage your core, releasing out. Lift the arms up to the sky, inhale, and then exhale. Stepping forward to the top of the mat, and then take a deep breath in. Exhale, forward fold, jump or step back into plank pose. We're just gonna go through one chaturanga before we do the other side. Inhale to up dog, exhale to down dog, and then step forward to the top of the mat. Deep breath in, halfway, exhale, fold forward, inhale, rise up all the way. Exhale, hands to the heart. Okay, let's balance on the right leg this time. So bending into your left knee, catching the inside part of your foot. And again, if you need a prop for this side, then you will just use a prop, and it's not a big deal. The only problem is using wall or a chair is not really teaching your body how to stabilize without them. So you are using assistance, but you kind of need to get that feeling if you're just starting from scratch. And then eventually you do need to kind of throw yourself into the fire and fall out, because that is how your body tends to learn, is by failing a little bit in some of these balancing poses. Try to keep your left knee pulling back, breathing into that position. All right, so releasing out, hands to the hips, and then that left leg is going to kick forward. Breathing into that space, into that heat, and then we're going to reach the arms alongside the ears, lean back even a little bit more. All right, swing in. We're swinging that leg forward. We're swinging the arms forward nice and slow, and take the hands back behind you to clasp. Pull those hands back. Pull the shoulder blades back. Reach through the head, take an inhale, and then you're finally resting back and putting some weight into your back leg, taking some weight out of that hard work front leg. So right leg is forward, left leg is back, a pyramid stance. Again, clasping behind you. This is what I talked about before. You're doing holding onto opposite forearms behind you, or you're doing your prayer twist behind you. Lift the chest up, take an inhale. Think of lengthening from the whole low back and sides of the body as you bow forward and bow over that right leg. All right, and then slowly start to rise back up. Release the arms, inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart, and then step forward. Okay, sweep arms overhead, inhale. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step or jump back into plank pose. Down to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog or cobra. Exhale it back into downward facing dog. little bit more yin style, holding some hip openers, and then slowing it all the way down to the end of class here. First, we're going to start by lifting up the right leg. You know, bend into that right knee here, breathe into that space. Let's step forward, up to the hands. Walk your right foot out to the right. Lizard lunge. So, pretty good hip opener, pretty good lunge. Pretty intense. Now you can untuck or tuck your back toes under. So personal preference, there's no right or wrong way to do that. And you can try it untucking your toes if you always have your toes tucked under, just to see how that feels. Maybe it feels better on your left knee there, if there's less pressure. You can just see. You can use blocks to support yourself in this position. If you would like to go down further, then you're going down onto your forearms. Maybe your left forearm, maybe your right forearm as well. But we are holding here. You can, to make this more intense, you can open this right foot out. So sole of the foot kind of opens like, kind of like pigeon pose in a little way. And it's opening the knee, and you'll get into the inner thigh as well. So do what feels good, and keep breathing into this pose. So make your breath kind of the forefront of your focus here now and for the rest of your class. Pick up that Ujjayi breath, pick up that sound, and really tap in as these poses are much more intense and much more uncomfortable. But there should be no pain, just an uncomfortable feeling as body stretches. If you do feel pain, then you need to modify your pose, back out of the pose, readjust. So really listening to your body. Okay, so take your time here coming up, and you can stay here in this position. We're going to take a little bit of an opening to the right. So right hand can go on your right knee, and you can just turn and twist. If you would like to open more of this left hip here and the quadricep here, then you will be bending into the left knee, and grabbing onto the inside part of the left foot with your right hand. Try not to slouch in this position, especially if you're grabbing onto the foot. My arm on my left arm is locked out, and I'm really supporting myself with my arm here as I'm leaning to the left. I'm staying open to the right. My shoulders are opening to the right. My torso, whole upper torso is twisting to the right. We're going to release and then slowly come out of that position you can walk that back knee in, and you can kind of pick up your leg and just gently bring it back into tabletop position. And then we'll go into child's pose and just take kind of a neutral position before we begin on the other side. So deep breaths in here, deep breaths out. All right, so take your time coming back up. We'll go all the way up into downward facing dog again. Let's just kind of get the hamstrings stretched out a little more, get the calf muscles stretched out a little bit more. We'll do the other side. So the left leg, you can lift up, you can bend into the left knee, and then we'll step forward. So going into lizard lunge on this side. And you can walk your back knee back so you can get more into a split leg position, getting lower to the ground. And like I said, on the other side, you can open the sole of your left foot and the knee kind of opens up to the side. That is fine too. You can keep your hand, you can stay up like this and just kind of keep your hand on your knee for the whole time if you like. Other than that, we're just going to stay here. Feel free to kind of move around in the position. So just because you kind of picked one position, say if it's a low position, doesn't mean you have to really stay there the whole time. So again, if you need that break, if you feel it's too intense, then you need to readjust, and maybe the opposite is true too. So maybe you start off nice and high, but then your body starts to relax, and then you feel like maybe you are able to drop the chest down lower, or maybe start by dropping your right forearm down, see how that feels, and then maybe eventually your left forearm will come to the floor as well. But taking the time and really breathing into each progression is really important, so that you're not rushing the body, you're not going to injure the body in any way. So taking your time here, slowly make your way up, and then we're going to do that opening to the left side this time. So my right arm is supporting myself, my arm is locked out, my left hand is going to rest on the knee, and you're going to do a little bit of a twist there with the upper body, or you're going to bend into the right knee and catch the inside part of the foot and kind of open even more. So you're opening that right shoulder, left shoulder out even more by the foot kind of pulling back over to the right side. Again, make sure you don't feel any pain in your knee. If you have some knee issues, then this might not be the best choice for you, but again, you know your body best. Keep breathing into that sensation, whatever you have chosen. Take another deep breath in and out. And then we're going to release. So again, just gently coming out of the pose. I'm going to draw my back knee in and just very slowly lean to the right side to take that left leg back and around, and then settle back into child's pose. On your next inhale, slowly start to come up. And we're going to go into reclined hero's pose or thunderbolt pose next. Now, if you have a bolster at home and you have some knee issues even sitting like this, then you're going to put a bolster at your back and you're going to lie back onto it, or a bunch of pillows behind you, and you're going to lie back in it, or you can roll up a mat or a towel and stuff that underneath your knee, at your knee pits here, and then that's going to create some space so that you can't actually go back in that much flexion. That's going to create some space in the back of your knee. If you would like to go back into thunderbolt pose, your sit bones will be on the floor and your heels will be on the outer sides of your hips here, and then you're going to lie back all the way down to the ground. You can put a block underneath your back too if you feel like you can almost lie all the way down to the ground, but you need a little bit more space, and a couple blocks underneath your low back and upper back on the floor and kind of stacked on top of each other could help, or just a couple pillows, or just one kind of bed pillow underneath your back will give you a little bit of support here, or quite a bit of support, because that's a few inches. So in any case, you're down here. If you don't even like the sensation at all going back, then you could go on your belly and go into the frog position. So you're bending your knees on your belly and you're pulling, just grabbing onto your feet, lying on your belly. So head onto the floor and you're stretching that way. So that is kind of the same idea. We want to target quadricep muscles and hip flexors and kind of put your spine into a little bit of an extension while being supported at the same time by the ground or by props. So belly onto the ground, your whole belly is supported, and then it's kind of uses a little bit more energy because you're using the arm muscles to pull your feet if you are in your frog position. So it's less intense, so you could try that as well. With this thunderbolt position, again, we're going to hold just a little bit longer here since we are doing some yin and holding for a longer time. If you want to stretch your shoulders out, your arms are alongside your ears, you can grab onto opposite elbows or forearms above your head and further put your spine into a little bit more extension and a little bit more heart opening here. Taking deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Focus on those belly breaths. Take another deep breath in and out. Slowly release out of that position, propping or pushing yourself out if you're down in thunderbolt pose, and we'll move forward into tabletop position. So everyone come to tabletop, bring your forearms on the floor and circle around in the spine, around in the shoulder joints and around in the knee joints. Hips moving from left to right, kind of really pushing the hips out to the right and to the left, but also pulling back. Moving forward, moving back. So just getting a little bit of relief through the spine. Deep breaths in and deep breaths out. Also opening the shoulders here if you're pulling back. and then going into down dog next. So tucking the toes under, lifting the hips, and stretching the legs out and stretching those hamstrings out. All right, so next coming onto the floor, and then we'll go into Gomukhasana, cow face position. You can also go into double pigeon position if you want. I will show you what cow face pose looks like. You're bringing the right, we'll go with the right leg on the bottom and the left leg over top. So stacking the left knee over the right knee. And so your legs are like in a tight cross-legged position, but you can do more of the box position, which is the double pigeon, which is the left ankle stacked on top of the right knee and the right ankle right underneath the left knee here for that more of the box position. So finding a spot that's going to suit you. If you want kind of a block underneath your seat or even a kind of a cushion, if you feel like you're tipping over to one side or the other, then you can try propping yourself up just to lengthen out your spine and prevent rounding through the spine. Take your hands alongside your body here, press down into the mat with your fingertips and tuck your chin in. So think about lengthening through the entire spine and lifting the sit bones off of the floor. Breathing into that. Think of heavy sit bones even though they're lifting off the floor, so you should feel some space happening there. And then let the sit bones drop back into the floor. Let the arms rise above here alongside your ears. Breathing, think about lengthening through the sides of the body, both evenly on the left side and right side. Just keep thinking about that length that you're creating in this pose. Leaning slightly forward now so that your hands are more pointing to the corners of the ceiling in front of you. And then finally let your arms drop down, touching the floor, and then let your chest pull forward and just kind of continue moving that way. So moving your collarbones down past your knees, not thinking about dropping your head down to your knees. So think of in front of you. That is the direction we want to go. It's just this lengthening up and also dropping down. And kind of keep that feeling within your body as you are breathing, as your body kind of relaxes bit by bit, breath by breath. See if you can find the breath in your body, find it in your belly. Deep breath in. Breathe out through the mouth. Find it in your back. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out through the mouth. And then find it in the sides of your body. By taking a deep breath in and taking a deep breath out through the mouth. Allow for some more breaths to happen here, just a few more. And then slowly start to rise out of the pose. So we're going to gently come out of the pose by using your arms to release the leg in front, so that left leg, and then right leg, and then straighten everything out and shake it out. We'll do a forward fold before we do the other side, just a quick one. Inhale, lift, exhale, and just relaxing forward fold. So feel free to round your spine, breathe into the space. And then slowly start to rise out of that position. All right, so left knee is going to be on the bottom this time, and the right knee is going to be on top. Okay, if you want to do the box position, you can, the right leg on top, or the Sukhasana position, the cross-legged position, your right leg will be in front. Or whatever side you just, you didn't do. So do the opposite of what you just did, if you're doing your own thing. So here we go again on this side. We're going to start by putting your hands down by the hips and just pushing into the floor, lengthening the spine, almost like you're just trying to adjust your seat a little bit, so the seat should feel like it's lifting off your block or floor. Tuck your chin in and just think about a straight spine. You can also lean back just slightly here. Straight spine, breathing, breathing, breathing. Feel like there's space underneath the sit bones, and then let that space disappear. So drop your sit bones back onto the floor. Feel everything sink back into your hips, but still think about that length happening in the sides of your body. And we'll try and explore that here with the arms alongside the ears, reaching and just breathing into the sides of the body. Leaning forward, reaching towards the corners of the ceiling. And then letting the arms drop down, hands onto the floor, and just keep lengthening. Keep thinking about your head and chest moving forward beyond your knees. So not trying to rest on your knees, but in front of your knees. Bring some sound into your breath, Ujjayi breath. Bring even more sound, breath out through your mouth if this feels especially intense for you. So just taking your time, slowly rising out of that position and unwinding the legs very gently, taking that right leg out, left leg, and then in front. And then again, do some shaking out, and then we'll do a forward fold again. So deep breath in and exhale, forward fold. Toes pointing up, heels reaching forward. All right, and then slowly start to walk yourself up. We're going to lie on the back next, so get ready, make sure there's space back behind you. We'll roll like a ball. You can also just go right to happy baby pose if this isn't for you. So tuck your chin under, and we're going to rock back and roll forward. Inhale, rock back, and exhale, roll forward. momentum of your legs, using your core. Happy baby pose is next. So grabbing onto the knees, the shins, or you can grab onto the toes with your peace sign fingers and rock from side to side. Try to keep thinking about that low back dropping down to the floor as you're rocking from side to side so that you can massage it out with your motion. Breathing deeply, letting your eyes relax or close. All right, and then releasing your feet down to the floor. So let's first start by putting left foot on the floor and left knee bent, and then we'll straighten that right leg out in front of you, up towards the ceiling. Walk up. You see if you can grab up high up on the leg. Maybe it's big toes that you connect. Maybe you have one hand on the back of your lower leg and then holding onto your big toes. So first, pull that low back down into the floor. So think of yourself as connecting that low back, pushing it down into the floor as you're keeping that right leg straight, up, reaching up towards the ceiling. And also, you're putting that foot in flexion. If you can't grab onto your toes and you're just holding onto your hamstrings, then with your own muscles, you can flex that foot. So just think about pushing out through the heel and pulling those toes to your shin or towards your knee. So try to actively put your foot in that flex position. It's much easier to do if you are holding on, or if you have a strap. It's much easier to put your foot in that flexion than trying to get your body to do it itself, because if you have really tight calf muscles and really tight hamstring muscles, that foot's not going to go into very much flexion. It's not going to be very willing to do that for you. So sometimes you do need that strap as a prop, and it's very handy. Okay, we're going to cross now the right knee or right foot on top of the left knee. So we're in that figure 4 position. Now if this feels like it's a stretch for you, then you're going to stay here. Otherwise, lift that left leg up and thread the needle. Grab onto the left back of the left leg there and the hamstrings, and you're pulling, so you're pulling that right shin in towards yourself. At the same time, you can increase the intensity by pushing your right elbow into the inner right knee. So look at your your right elbow, push it into the thigh, into the knee, and that'll kind of open up that knee a lot more and increase your intensity as well. If you slightly pulling in this figure 4 position with the leg hovering, if you slightly lean to the left side, this will also increase the intensity. So you can kind of do all these things, like pushing your elbow into your inner thigh and slightly leaning to the left side, just because now your right hip and your right sit bone is off the ground here, and you have some space to push into. It'll increase that intensity a little bit more. So you'll be feeling this in your right glute, your right hip, and then we're going to slowly release here back into the ground. We're going to undo the grip here, arms out to a T, and then the legs will fall to the left side here. So I'm going to stay in this cross-legged position. If you would like to just stack your knees over to the side or straighten one leg down from underneath and have that right knee bent, then that is fine too. So So doing what feels good here in this twist. This is an excellent twist to hold for any class, not just EN class. I usually do this at every class, holding the reclined twist position. It's an excellent shoulder opener and hip opener, fascia releaser, super pose, I believe. With your right arm, you can check out your range of motion that you have for today or for this evening. Maybe it feels tighter, maybe it feels more flexible than when you did it last time or even yesterday. And that's kind of the magic of doing some of these stretches, is that your body is changing all the time, just bringing awareness to how your body is doing by putting it through these different ranges of motion, and just offering some information back to you about what's going on in your body. So moving that arm above your shoulder or below your shoulder will give you some information. Palm facing up, palm turned down. Maybe you like to kind of just do both, rolling the hand on the floor, palm down, rolling it so that the palm's facing up. Maybe you would like to play around with how the neck feels by looking to your right shoulder, then looking to your left shoulder. These are very slow and mindful movements here, so just take it slow, enjoy the process. Breathing as you are going along. Deep breaths in, deep breaths out. So take your time, slowly releasing out of that twist. Unwind the legs if they were wound up and give yourself a hug. So pull the knees in, maybe bring your head into your knees as well. Then release. So the right foot is going to be on the floor with your left or with your right knee bent, and your left leg is going to go straight up this time. So like I said, if you can just clasp the back of your left leg, then that is fine. If you can reach all the way up into your toes and put your foot into flexion, that would be fine as well. You are trying to get that foot into flexion. So if you have a strap and you need that strap, you should use it. It'll come in nice and handy for this position. Stretching the hamstrings and paying attention to that low back. At the same time, you want to drop that low back into the floor. So don't think about lifting up your hips in any way. We're trying to get your hips up higher and pull your leg in towards your body. That's not going to do too much for you. But if you think about making your hips even more heavier, but yet still trying to straighten your leg and still try to pull your leg towards yourself, towards your head, then that will be much more intense. Breath definitely key, so we're taking those deep breaths in, deep breaths out. Going to release, we're going to go into that cross-legged figure four position. So left ankle on your right knee, and you can go ahead and thread your needle, or you can stay with your right foot on the floor. taking some deep breaths in and deep breaths out here. Checking in with that left foot and see if you can keep it flexed, pushing out through your left heel. With your right foot, doesn't matter too much. You can do some ankle rolls while you're doing this, while you're here. And then again, for that intensity, you can push your left elbow into your inner left knee or thigh. So to keep that knee opening up to the side, and then you can slightly lean to the right side to just kind of shift the angle. At the same time though, you want to keep in mind as you're doing this, you are pulling with your hands. You're pulling essentially that shin in towards your chest in that direction. So that is what's going to make the hugest difference in that intensity. The closer your shin is towards your chest, the more intensely you will feel that stretch in your glutes here. In your left side, you should feel that piriformis, your hip flexors, you will feel that. Remember just to keep taking those deep breaths in and out to match your intensity. Okay, so letting that go, letting your grip go, and letting your legs fall to the right side this time. Playing around with, again, the different leg positions which are going to be suitable for you and for this side of your body. And then playing around with the arm positions as well. Lowering your arm, raising your arm, palm flat to the floor, facing the floor, palm facing the ceiling. Head rocking, pulling the chin over to the right shoulder, pulling the chin over to the left shoulder as well. Okay, so take one more deep breath in and deep breath out here. And then slowly bring yourself back to center again. Unwind the legs, give yourself a hug. So a big deep breath into your spine. And then release your feet to the floor, knees bent. Let's do some windshield wipers, arms out to a T position, and drop your knees left and right here. So starting to pay attention to how your feet feel and how your legs feel, and just imagine them getting more relaxed, more heavy here as we go along. As we begin to, we're approaching this Shavasana meditation, so we want to start to get in the mindset of being relaxed and still. When you are ready, you can start straightening the right leg, left leg, and get to a comfortable position that's going to be suitable for you. So that could be a cross-legged position as well, or propping yourself up with a bolster at your back, or sitting on a bolster, whatever is going to be comfortable. That is key. So if you feel like you may be cold in the next minute or so, then cover yourself up with a blanket just to minimize that distraction. So starting by taking a deep breath in, fill the lungs and fill the belly. Take a long deep breath out through the mouth. So completely emptying the lungs and completely emptying the belly, sinking that back in towards the floor. And again, filling up, expansion through the belly, expansion through the lungs. Think about even the sides of the body expanding, almost like you're going to lift off the ground with an inhale, and then on your exhale, nice and slow and long exhale. Feel your ribcage sink down, feel your arms pull down, feel your belly sink, feel your low back sink down, and be more comfortable resting on the mat. So take another one there at your own time, a nice long deep breath in and a longer exhale. And then resume just breathing at a more natural pace, in your own natural rhythm. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Perhaps starting that counting breath, the count in at 6 and an out exhale count at 8 in that ratio, and you can move up to 7 and 9 and up even higher as your heart rate slows down. So you want to start to think every exhale you are beginning to relax your heels. Think about your calf muscles begin to relax even more, and taking up more space on the mat. Backs of the legs, fronts of the thighs, knees, shins, and back to your ankles and feet. Heavy throughout your whole right leg and your left leg. Think about breathing down to your hips, sides of hips, belly, and glutes even. On your exhale, relaxing everything down, letting any gripping go with that tailbone and your glute muscles. Hips totally supported by your mat and by the earth. Think about the spine lengthening and resting on your mat, on your floor. Taking up more space with your shoulder blades, allowing them to pull down and spread out on the mat, and allowing the backs of the arms to just feel heavy, relaxed, and supported as well. Breathing into your back. Shift your attention to the sides of your neck and the back of the neck. See if you can lengthen, allow for some space, and then allow for those neck muscles to let go of the head. And let the weight of the head be fully supported by your mat, by your floor, and by the earth. Breathing into the whole back body, from the back of your head, down through your spine, arms, and through your legs, resting on the floor. Think about space happening through the forehead, the eyebrow line, heavy eyelids, cheekbones, in through the jaw and the tongue in the mouth, completely relaxing your facial muscles, just allowing that breath to more naturally enter, coming in, expanding, and exit, leaving and relaxing your body. Back into the throat and soften throughout the throat to the collarbones, the chest, the abdomen, and the whole body together now. The front, the sides of the body, and the back of the body, all breathing together and resting together. Taking your time, bringing the attention back into your breath and back into your body. Feel expansion once again in your front body, in your belly, in rib cage, sides of your rib cage, and in your back. And then you exhale, softening to happen, and then allowing for some movement to come through in your toes, in your fingers, rocking the head from side to side. And adding on more stretching here as it becomes more intuitive for you. So rocking the knees from side to side, yawning. And from there you're rolling or rocking over onto your right. And going back up into seated when you're ready. And namaste, everybody. Thanks for joining me today. And I'll see you guys next week for Vinyasa Flow Yoga. And I'll see you on Wednesday if you're going to join me for HIIT Core Yoga. And yeah, check out other videos on the Facebook page and on the YouTube channel, Melissa Shippey's YouTube channel, if you want to check out different varieties of classes and lengths of classes. So pretty much everything out there for you guys, and all for free. So have a great week, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.